Hi everyone, I'm really happy to be with you today for this lecture on the first settlers of the island of Orleans. This lecture is part of Roots Tech Connect 2021, which I'm really happy to be part of this year. So let's right now jump into the main subject so we don't lose any time. And let's start with a little presentation of myself. So let's just get the slides. Here we are. So let's start with who am I? Why am I talking to you right now? So me, I'm Sabrina. I'm a certified genealogist and I've been working at the Fondation François Lamy since 2012. I've also volunteered on some genealogical website here in Quebec. So I really dig into genealogy often and I really like it. The Fondation François Lamy, which I work for, is a nonprofit organization, and our mission is to preserve and to share the heritage of the island of Orleans through its founding family. So to do so, we have two sites: La Maison de Rouen, which is an ancestral house that was built in 1730, and people lived in until 1984 in the same condition, really, than the first people there in 1730. So it's really like you're doing a travel into time when you visit it. And we have also La Maison de nos Aïeux, which is an historical and a genealogical center. So this is where you'll go to gather some information on genealogy, founding families, heritage, history, and all. So we'll be really pleased to help you if you have any information on, not information, but if you need information. And I'll give you more cue at the end of this presentation so on what you can wait and have as information at La Maison de nos Aïeux. To do so, we're going to talk about the island of Orleans today, obviously. So for you who are not familiar on where the island is on that big planet, it's part of Canada, part of Quebec, which is a French-Canadian province. And when you zoom in on that province, when you head south down right in the middle of the St. Lawrence River, you will find this lovely island of Orleans, which is waiting to be discovered in 1535 by Jacques Cartier, which is the first known French European that came on the island. Maybe there were other before, but he's the first one who left any trace of it in papers. So Jacques Cartier in 1535 did what any people who discovers the territory would do. He named the territory. So he named it Ile de Bacchus in 1535. Bacchus is the Roman god of wine, and Jacques Cartier was really surprised by all the wild wines that were growing on the island. So he did 1 + 1, and Ile de Bacchus it is. Although in 1536, he's going to rename the island Ile d'Orléans in honor of Duc d'Orléans in France, Henry II. So Ile d'Orléans is really the main name since 1536. If you do some research, or if you have already done some research, you may come across other names: Ile et Comté Saint-Laurent, Ile Windigo, Ile Sainte-Marie. Those are all names that individual gave to the island at some point. The island of Orleans is really the main official name, but don't be surprised if you come across other names. Those are good also. So in 1536, we're going to need to wait another 100 years, so a century really, before anything really happens on the island in order of colonization. So we have on January 15, 1636, the Company of the 100 Associates that obtained the seigneurie of the l'Île d'Orléans. What is the Company of the 100 Associates? Mostly it's a company that had the whole monopoly of the fur trade back then. In exchange, they would have to increase the population of the colony. So to do so, they're going to have to give some seigneurie, and to have a seigneurie, you're going to have a lord. So Jacques Castillon become its lord. I know those are maybe new words, new things that you're not familiar with, but stay with me a little bit longer and I'll explain to you that very soon. So in 1649, Jacques Castillon begins to concede some arrière-fief. So he's the lord of the island of Orleans. He has the whole island to himself, but he cannot really manage it on his own. So this is the island that we draw. And he's going to concede, like I said, arrière-fief in 1649. So what is that? You see lines appearing on the screen. Here you have two arrière-fiefs, arrière-fief Beaulieu and arrière-fief d'Argentenay. So mostly what it is that a seigneurie is a big, large land given to an individual, really, who has some rights and some obligation. And one of their main obligation as a lord is to increase the population of their seigneurie. So by the meaning, increasing the population of the colony. So to do so, Jacques de Castillon gave some smaller part of the island to other lords that they are going to become lords. And those lords are going to also have the obligation to settle people on their land, and then by the meaning, increasing the population. So it still may be a little bit strange to you guys right now, but stick with me again. We'll all figure that out very, very quickly. So in 1656, that's when the first 15 pioneers settled on the island of Orleans. So you may wonder, who are they? Who are the men who crossed the Atlantic? Well, most of them were peasants hoping for a better life. In France, really, you maybe had no chance of having a house, owning a land, owning really anything. So most of them are going to find the New World appealing. We're talking about large land where you can hunt, where you can fish, where you can have your own land, have your own house, and have your family settle on it and provide for them. A lot of people in France may not have that chance because it's too crowded and everything. So a lot of them are going to jump into a boat and go and see what the New World holds for them. A lot of them also are going to be 36 mois, 36 months. Who are they? When I said that the Lord had to increase the population of the seigneurie, some of them are going to take this very, very seriously, and they're going to go back to France and gather people, mostly sometimes from their parish where they were born, and ask for them to come and settle on their land. To do so, what he's going to maybe give as a reason to come, he's going to pay their way to New France. And once they're in New France for 36 months, so 3 years, they're going to be, they're going to stay with the Lord. So they're going to provide a house, they're going to provide food. So, and they're going to work for the Lord for 36 months. So they're going to see what is the new colony, how to live there, what are the pros and cons of living there. And after the 36 months, they have the choice going back to France or settle. Some of them are going to go back to France because most of the people didn't mention winters and mosquitoes. Let's say that. And some of them obviously stayed on the island, hopefully for us who have pioneers of the island in our trees. And they're going to settle. So what is going to happen when they're going to arrive and when they're going to be given a plot of land? The lands are going to be given for the island from the middle of the island all the way to the river. Why the river? Everybody needed an access in and out of the island. It's your road, really. All the rivers are your roads. There's no road, obviously, when they came here. And also, not all the settlers are going to have a source of water on their land. So the rivers of the St. Lawrence River is going to be their main water for most of them. So here you see quickly the lands are being given. And let's zoom in into a land, and this is what they saw. So I had a little fun doing that, obviously. So when the settlers came on the island, this is what they found. Trees and water, really. So what's the first thing that they're going to have to do? Chop some trees right there. And when they've cleared enough space, they're going to start building a house. Maybe you wonder why the house is not closest to the river. Because here on the islands, we have tides. And they're going to learn that quickly. So they're going to build their house further away from the river. Once the house is built, obviously, they're also going to add a fireplace, the heart of the house. Fireplaces are very, very important. There's right in the middle of the house. There's no division in the house, so it's one room. The more you add division, the harder it is to heat in the winter because there's one fireplace and you need to heat the whole house. So no division. Everybody sleeps, eats, and whatever in the same room. The fireplaces are massive usually because they're your main cooking area. They're going to provide heat and light. So here's a picture of the Maison Drouin. You have the fireplace that's in it. It's massive. Really, I can fit in. And even if I'm small, it's still very massive. So you have the fireplace. Like I said, this is where they're cooking, where all the cooking happens. And also where the heat is and where you're going to be able to light your house. Some of them are going to be lucky. Like in the Maison Drouin, they're going to have a bread oven in the house. Why do I say they're lucky? Is that bread is a main course in New France. An adult is going to eat about 2 pounds of bread per day, which seems a lot today. But don't forget, they work hard and they don't have a lot of food to eat. So bread is going to be really what they're going to accompany all their meals. So here the bread oven is in the house, but most of them are going to be outside. And even some of them are going to share their bread oven with their neighbors. So here it is. And who are the 15 first settlers of the island? So you're going to see their names appearing on the screen right now. If you're lucky, maybe one of your ancestors are going to be on that list of the 15 first pioneer. Let's not forget, though, there's over 300 pioneers on the island of Orleans. So if you don't see your ancestors right there, it does not mean that he's not part of the first settlers of the island. At the end of the presentation, I'll show you how to access the list of those 300 founding families. So those are the 15 first that settled on the north shore of the island. And then the population was increasing, so we needed to erect the first parish of the island. So Sainte-Famille Parish it is. If you do some genealogical research and you have settlers that settled on the island before 1661, don't be surprised to find that all their weddings, baptism, and all are going to be in the parish of Château Richer. The inhabitants did not go to Château Richer to do their weddings or their baptism. It's going to be priests that are going to come on the island once in a while, do all those stuff that they need. So baptism, weddings, burial, and all. And then when he's going to head back to Château Richer, that's where he's going to write them in the archives of the parish. So it's not because your ancestor got married in Château Richer and lived on the island that he's not that he went to Château Richer. But after that, 1661, everything is on the island for the whole island, and it's going to be the parish of Sainte-Famille. And then in 1662, we have Monseigneur de Laval, which is the bishop. He's going to begin to purchase the seigneury of the island of Orleans, and he's going to complete it in 1668. Why he does that? He does that to increase the population. The increasing has been going slowly, let's say, before that. So the Monseigneur Laval is going to take that in hand, and he's going to do a wonderful work. And you can see that that's the occupation of the island in 1689. So you really see right now there's no place to settle another pioneer on the island. All the lands are given. And since it's an island, there's no way to extend the territory. So all the island is really given in 1689. So Monseigneur de Laval did a very good job in increasing the population. But let's not all give the credit to Mans. We've all been talking about Mans, but without women, I mean, there's no natural increasing of the population. It's only immigration. And the king knew that. So in 1663, to increase naturally the population, he's going to think with his government, not him himself, about the king's daughter. So the king's daughter, what it is that just before I go more with the king's daughter, there's before that 1 woman for 6 men in the colony, which is not very fair. So what's going to happen is that in 1663 and for 10 years, the king and the government and all are going to send massively women to New France. Why we call them king's daughter is because they're going to have kind of a dowry when they get married from the king. Those king's daughter, who are they? Except they're the mothers of the nation, really. But they're also, most of them, orphans and widow, also looking for a better chance in life. So we see a similar path here. And it's over 770 women that are going to come amongst the king's daughter. This is a lot. I repeat, 10 years. 770 women that across the Atlantic to get married. They're going to have each £100 to provide for for themselves until they get married. And most of them are going to marry within 5 months after their arrival. So, and don't think that they got married with the first settler that they saw on the dock. That is not true. What they would do, they would meet the boy, ask question. Really, it's a contract. So, okay, you have a wooden house. Okay, that seems interesting. Okay, let's have a contract. And maybe the next day she met another man, and that guy had a house made of stone, and he had a bread oven in the house, which is so much more appealing. So what she's going to do, cancel the first contract, sign another contract, and so on until she really gets married, and then there's no divorce possible back then. So they really had the choice, but it was not really a love marriage, more as a contract. But they were there for that. And 120 women are going to marry mans from the island. This is a lot. That's the territory that's going to receive the most of the king's daughter. So the king's daughter, 10 years, as I said. And in 10 years, just due to them, the colony, not only due to them, but mostly to them, the colony's population has tripled. That's massive. And they were, I don't know why, more fertile than other women's. But that's another subject. So the population is increasing very, very nicely. And we're going to need to open new parishes to provide all the religious service for all those new families that are settling on the island. So 1679, Saint-François, Saint-Jean, Saint-Laurent, and Saint-Pierre are founded. So everybody really has an access to a church to provide for their soul, really. And right now, we're just going to go and watch a small video, and we'll come back to you right after. So let me get this video for you.
To begin with, there was the island, the forest, the river, the wind, the animals, and the migratory birds crossing the sky. They were followed by hunters and gatherers, whose movement varied according to the season. For centuries, Aboriginal people were regular visitors to this island. Finally, other people arrived who set about felling trees with a view to constructing buildings and farming the land. That is where this story begins. Dating the construction of this house required more than human archives. The trees had to be consulted to. Under the floor, where you are now standing, there are a number of beams supporting the house. Dating analyses were used to determine the year in which one of these trees was felled. Thus, in summer 1729 or winter 1730, a huge eastern cedar was cut down to be used in these foundations. You could say that this big tree supplied the birth certificate of the Maison Drouin, resting upon it much like a nest upon a branch.
This is a video that we present into our exhibit in the Maison Drouin, which you can have 28 other videos that you can see. So it's all about the history of the island and the house, the family that lived in this house. So I really like to show it because I feel it gives like, I don't know, like a sneak peek into the past, really. So this video is very, very neat, and we have others. So right now, I'm just gonna also, we are approaching the end of this presentation. For those of you who have ancestors on the island, or maybe think you have ancestors on the island, let me show you. This is our website that you can find on Roostec. It's lamaisondenosaieux.com or fondationfrancoislamy.com. Everything works. And if you want to go and see if your settlers or your pioneers, your ancestors, really, I'm losing my words, are from the island, you can go and click on genealogy right here. and you'll have looking for your roots, and here you have a little PDF that is going to open, and here you have all the list of all the founding families of the island of Orleans, so you can look and see if your family is part of it. And if ever you need information and stuff, we have information on our documentation center. We have genealogy consultation, which I give, so we can book a consultation and I'll be happy to help you. And we also have tree services and genealogy products, so really it's very and we like to talk to you, so don't hesitate and write to us. So this is my email if ever you need to write to me for any concerns, if you have questions, information, if some things you need a little bit a light on to help you with your research. I'll be happy to help and find a better way for you to help. And until we can meet, I really want to thank you all for listening to this presentation. I was thrilled to be part of Roots Tech Connect 2021. Also, I want to thank them for giving me this opportunity. And thank you all. If you have any more questions, don't hesitate to write to me. And also, don't hesitate to go on Roots Tech website. They have great content. Check their page, and there's, I think, over, I don't even want to say a number. So there's a lot of presentation. So just go on it and do your research. So have a nice day, and I hope we can meet one day. Thank you. Bye bye.